test on the war in Ukraine, as Russia says it's downed several Ukrainian drones overnight. One was reportedly intercepted close to Moscow. There were no reports of any injuries. These are pictures of some of the damage. Local residents say it's possible that the drones may have been aimed at a nearby airport. Russia also says that at least 2 more were brought down over the southern Rostov region. These buildings are not far from the region's military headquarters. But again, no casualties have been reported. All of this comes as the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken continues a 2-day visit to Kyiv today. He's been meeting with demining experts who've had a key role in trying to clear the minefield set up by Russian forces in front of the areas which have been occupied since the invasion began. Mr. Blinken's already announced a new aid package of more than $1 billion for Ukraine. Let's have a listen to what he had to say to reporters today. So easy to sometimes get lost in abstractions numbers. How many people lost their lives or were wounded, but the larger effects are. But it all comes down to the human dimension, to the lives, the stories of men, of women and children, like the men, women and children who are imprisoned in the basement of this building next to us, which normally was a school, and are held there for a month. 127 people in a room, not even fit for one person, for human habitation, children as young as a month old, not allowed to come out, and this is just one building in one village, in one community in Ukraine. And this is a story that we've seen again and again and again. Well, let's go live now too. Can you even speak to our diplomatic correspondent, Paul Adams? Always good to talk to you. Paul, we've been discussing over the last few days the significance of this visit by Antony Blinken to Ukraine, but just bring us back up to date about how many trips he's done since Russia's invasion, and how key this particular trip might be. This is his 4th visit, Regina, and his 6th as Secretary of State, but the 4th since Russia launched its all-out invasion, and I think that clip you just played is very telling, because I think in recent weeks something of a narrative had begun to develop that Washington was maybe frustrated with the slow pace of Ukraine's offensive, was not giving Ukrainian generals their due for conducting the war in the way that they saw fit, a kind of a little bit of tension developing in the relationship, after all, between Ukraine and its principal Western backer. So the Secretary of State Blinken has come here. He took the unusual step of spending the night here, and his trip today, in which he has gone to the shelter that you just saw him speaking at. He has talked to border guards. He has been involved in activities to do with demining. He's talked a bit about that too. I think this is all part of the Secretary of State saying, we get it. We get what you're going through. We understand absolutely the pressures that you're under. And maybe just to kind of draw a line under what has been a slightly awkward chapter in relations in recent weeks. He also, of course, brought news of the fresh package of U.S. assistance, both military and civilian. And that is that is very much par for the course. It's yet another package in many, many packages designed to keep Ukraine's economy going, but also, of course, to keep Ukraine's fighting effort going. And Mr. Blinken, when he was talking yesterday, says that he feels that the latest package will help to add momentum to that. Well, that latest package is also controversial. The announcement that new military support will be sent, including controversial tank shells, which we were discussing on the Pro earlier, the uranium shells.